I got engaged to a blind duke. Episode 184. Graaahhh. Kyaa. It's a grey wolf. The startled villagers ran toward the cabin to distance themselves from the grey wolf. Everyone stay alert and hold what's in your hands forward. The hunter watching the grey wolf shouted to the sturdy men around him. The men finally came to their senses and slowly backed away from the grey wolf while extending their weapons forward. Ronnie. Minnie. The village woman who ran to the cabin first embraced the children with both arms. Mom. The children trembled with fear as they burrowed into their mom's warm embrace. Bree. Father. Bree also nestled into his chubby father's arms. Marine watched the situation with a tense face, then looked behind her. Bunny was tucking the young boy under his side and kicking at the grey wolf with his feet. Al and Elmies were busy dealing with the other grey wolves. For grey wolves to appear all at once and attack like this. Since Bunny wasn't dangerous, she hadn't thought to bring knights. Marine pressed the proposal ring she was wearing on her hand. Gerald. I'm at the cabin right now. Please come quickly and help us. Today was the day Gerald, who had gone to check on the demon beast flowers, was returning to the Duke's castle. Please, let him be somewhere within reach of her voice. She saw the rabbit get his foot bitten by a grey wolf while protecting the child. Growl. Marine ran near the rabbit and shouted. Rabbit, give me the child first. Bunny looked back and threw the child. Marine caught the flying young boy and rolled on the ground. After stopping her roll, Marine quickly checked the child's condition. Are you okay? Sob yes. The child nodded while bursting into tears of relief. Thank goodness. Are you Joseph? Yes. Marine got up and brought the child to the villagers. Joseph. Mom. Joseph's mother, covered in freckles, embraced the child. Are you okay? The rabbit saved me. Joseph barely managed to speak through his tears. What? That's right. The rabbit saved us before too. Ronnie, who had been listening nearby, chimed in agreement. Yeah. Minnie also nodded as if to confirm. At their words, the villagers looked at each other with confused expressions. A demon beast saved the children? Earlier when Minnie got hit by a rock, the rabbit protected us. Ronnie showed Minnie's forehead to the people while speaking clearly. The child's mother looked at Minnie's torn forehead with wavering eyes. Since she hadn't taken her eyes off the children for even a moment, she remembered that situation. Just as Ronnie said, after Minnie got hurt, the rabbit had blocked the children's path. Then it's not a demon beast? No. Rab. Bit. It's a rabbit. Minnie clenched both hands firmly and shouted to the adults when it happened. Graaahhh. Ah. One side of the men's formation that had been holding well collapsed. A man was dragged away with his arm caught in a grey wolf's mouth. Saw, save me. The moment people squeezed their eyes shut and turned away from the man, Marine, covered in dust, rushed forward. Get away. When she swung the fire shooting stick, the startled grey wolf released the man and jumped back. You there in black clothes, you in brown clothes. Move the injured person. When Marine pointed them out precisely, the two men finally ran over and dragged the injured man inside to hide. Marine took the injured person's place in the formation and filled the gap. Marine kept the fire burning continuously with more firepower than before while watching the grey wolves. The man standing next to her holding a pickaxe asked in a trembling voice. Miss, will knights come from the Duke's castle? Didn't you say earlier that a village resident went to call people from the Duke's castle? Yes. I didn't come because he called me. So we just need to buy a little more time until that person brings the knights. Yes. The man's voice became a bit more solid with hope. However, the grey wolves didn't seem inclined to give them more time. A wood-dash when the largest grey wolf that looked like the leader howled long, the grey wolves all leaped up with full force simultaneously. The men who had been standing with their barrier formation swung their weapons wildly with terrified faces. At that moment when everyone was in despair, Marine. Miraculously, Gerald could be seen running quickly toward them. Gerald. Over here. Marine raised her hand high while glaring at the grey wolf in front of her. Thank goodness. Just the thought that he had come calmed her trembling body. Gerald lightly drew his sword horizontally. It was a simple motion for him, but despair for the grey wolves that had charged at him. Thud. Thud. 2 of them fell to the ground, dead on the spot. At this, all the grey wolves bared their yellow teeth fiercely toward Gerald. Gerald stood still in that spot with an indifferent gaze as if telling them all to come. Graaahhh. Dozens of grey wolves charged at him simultaneously. Each time Gerald swung his sword once, one wolf fell to the floor. The dozens of grey wolves had been reduced to half before anyone knew it. The villagers who witnessed this scene were all shocked. The Western Duke's martial prowess had been passed down among people like a mythical tale, but this was the first time they had seen it up close. The Duke, as expected of the Vines family. Of course. The shield of the Western region. The villagers wore relieved expressions as if they were proud just to live in the Western region. Kyaa. As the grey wolves, already reduced to half their number, were reduced even further, they finally began to tuck their tails. Whoa. At their leader's signal, all the grey wolves began fleeing toward the mountain. Gerald didn't bother chasing the grey wolves. Rather, Marine, who looked as if she had rolled on the ground, was etched in his eyes so that he couldn't see anything else. As he quickly approached Marine directly, she ran to him first and embraced him. Gerald. Thump thump. A fierce heartbeat echoed from her small body. Are you okay? Gerald pressed his lips to her head and asked carefully. Yes. I'm fine. When Marine met his eyes as if to reassure him, only then did his heart, which had been tightly constricted with tension, find its proper rhythm. He had been on his way back after confirming that the demon flowers had not yet grown. But suddenly Marine's voice came from the ring. How fortunate it was that he could arrive in time. But what on earth happened here? As soon as he heard Marine's voice from the ring, he had rushed over frantically, so he couldn't grasp the situation. Then, Bunny, Al, and Elmies emerged from behind the cabin. Al whispered on the spot to report to Gerald, who had been absent for a while, about what had happened during that time. The Shadows didn't know all of the Duke's abilities, but they understood that his hearing was exceptional. After hearing about the circumstances, Gerald observed Bunny, who was bleeding blue blood here and there. It saved a child twice, and didn't attack even when people threw stones at it? Could that really be called a demon beast? Bunny's gaze met his in midair. Bunny, who always looked at him with cheeky eyes, hung its head with a dejected expression. Your Grace. Thank you for saving our village. Then, representing the village residents, Village Administrator Rumors stepped forward and bowed. Didn't you hear the order not to enter the cabin? Cold words fell from Gerald's lips. Rumors kept his head down and broke out in a cold sweat. He had definitely received a special order not to approach the cabin. Well, they said the demon beast was eating children, so we had no choice. Where is there a demon beast here? Pardon? Rumors looked up in surprise.